Hello again, dear friends. To access the system, we log in through the address ISG-SIS.com. When designing the system, we consider each business individually. We designed a structure where we can create a world, and when you log in, you enter the world of your own business. Both your own staff and the employees of your subcontractor companies can log in with a username and password. Our system is multilingual. The system can be used in different languages. It can be used in Portuguese, English, Arabic, Chinese, and other languages. We can adapt the system to different languages if we want. As I mentioned earlier, the system includes features that allow you to manage your business's workplace information. There are features for managing subcontractors. There are documents that help you manage employee information. In terms of documentation and action, let it be topics related to OHSE and personnel. We have sections that you can manage, and we have a customizable alert and notification system. You can design the system to notify me and certain individuals at any moment, during any record, at any specific point, within any time interval you specify, or as a predefined value is approached. You can design the system to notify me and specific individuals. You can set up a notification system via SMS, email, or both. You can conduct risk assessments. You can create your annual activity plans. You can make annual training plans, emergency planning, scenarios, and drills. Tasks requiring work permits, tracking, equipment periodic inspections, maintenance. Board meetings, meeting management, tracking of organizations, incident reporting, worker onboarding, medical examinations, screenings, and many modules exist on other subjects. I had mentioned these before. Now, when we log into the system, we might be greeted by a few main screens. You can customize these according to the personnel and their roles. For example, if someone is from the Health and Safety Environment team, a classic homepage follows like this. This is a subcontractor staff, and they are greeted with a page like this. If it's one of your own personnel, you can design the homepage with different buttons, or with different buttons like this. Again, upon the first system login, there is a personnel information text. This text contains explanatory information about what data is stored within the system. You can customize this text according to your needs within the system or completely change it. You can also add the writing suggested by your legal department or your lawyers here. On the right-hand side, there is a section where you can access the main page of the last company you worked on within the system. This becomes your recent activities section. When I click on the company name, the company's to the homepage of the company's dashboard you are accessing, and clicking on the action below within this company's. When I click on the line, it directly takes me to the action page within that company. What have I done here? I've made a new corrective action entry. What have I done here? I updated the workplace information. I've gone through the update process. Here also, the Work A record has been created as an action follow-up. Additionally, a work plan has been set up here. You can think of this area as a shortcut. In the middle section, there is a part where we occasionally post major announcements and updates. We notify you of the updates we make through here. This is what we call system announcements. On the left side, there is an announcement and information section intended for users of the system within your company. Here as well. Here you can make announcements directed at your own personnel. They can mark them as read. There is a list showing all the announcements, those read and unread, in this section also within the system. You can assign tasks to your personnel from each action and each module. And if you wish, you can also schedule these task assignments for a specific date. You can set deadlines for these assignments. Therefore, when staff members log in, they can see them within the system. Moreover, there is a section specifically for employees where they do not see everything when they log in. The system is based on permissions and roles. Within the framework, they only see what they need to. Seeing, read, to edit, delete, or make new entries. All are authority-based within the system. Here, personnel can manage their own distance training, other educational courses, as well as personal protective equipment. What responsibilities they have, such as which equipment they're responsible for maintaining or inspecting. Which equipment am I inspecting? What responsibilities do I have in incident reporting? What notifications are there? And in which corrective actions am I involved? Personnel can access information. When necessary, we can add new lists and features to the system based on requests from the field. Thus, the system is both expandable and sustainable. It takes on a form like this. Therefore, we also consider and evaluate the suggestions and opinions that come from you. We take them into account, evaluate them, project them, and implement them in the system for your use. Now I want to demonstrate using an example company, ABC Firm. Here in the top menu, this is our backend section. Many of these parts we refer to as the system pool for occupational health and safety, and then the control lists, related to equipment, machine-related matters, and then again where we input legal regulations and standards. Here we can enter them item by item, and for each item, we can associate each module, action, or subject with a specific item. Thus, the actions we perform, as well as the actions you perform, are supported by standards and regulations. You can view them through the system. We also input various things here, such as training lists and other topics. This part is not visible to our users, of course. Let me show you our workplace list. You can register as many workplaces as you want here. There is no limit on entries. What does having as many workplace records as you want mean? You have a main business. Plus, you can also enter other companies here, which you refer to as subcontractors, suppliers, or visitor companies that access your site. You can perform all the actions you carry out in your main company for these other companies within the system. Here you can open workplace cards for businesses. You can also record relevant information on the tabs. When we click on the Details section here, we enter that company's dashboard. Let me continue to show you through our earlier mentioned ABC company. Our workplace card, we can enter 3 different titles such as our company's official title, trade name, and internal title. Additionally, you can select the class your business belongs to within the international industry codes directly from the system. The areas with 3 dots always open a system pool window for us, and we make selections from there. In other matters, for example, how often should we renew our risk assessment? How many years should the system remind us? Or how often should we renew emergency planning? We can design these ourselves. On the system, actions periodic, linking actions to a period, associating document renewal to a period, or as I mentioned earlier, when we design something for informational purposes periodically in the beginning. You can plan these on a yearly, monthly, weekly, and daily basis, and even hourly in many areas. We also have official information such as tax number or other official details, registration number, and the address of the business. The businesses in the contact information section is our workplace card. We actually make many definitions related to our enterprise workplace on this card, and we can pull the enterprise information from here onto the reports we generate in the relevant modules. Wherever we see phone numbers and email addresses throughout the system, our enterprise information is directly available. The system has features for sending emails and SMS messages. And as I mentioned, unlimited records are available everywhere, allowing you to save any kind of contact information as much as you want. The same applies to workplace contact information as well as personnel contact information. Then you can enter your working hours into the system. You can define your shifts in the system. You can also identify who is in our health, safety, and environment team. We can define these in the system. If we have legal documents related to our business, we can enter these documents into the system. You can enter various things such as our tax information, business licenses, work permits, and certificates. You can also upload images related to your business into the system. You can see all the actions you have taken within your business here as an action list. You can take notes and obtain a report output for your business. These report tabs are found on many cards located at the end, on the right side, and we can print documents in this way, taking a printout from the printer, signing it in ink, and placing it in our red file. We can generate printouts in PDF and other formats through the system. After that, when I mention other formats, we generally use formats like Excel, Word, text, or images, but PDF format is the most commonly used. We have a workplace card readily accessible. There is a menu related to the workplace. The menu at the top is actually a menu where we can perform bulk operations. As I mentioned earlier, you can view all the plans for other businesses in your own business here. Places where you can view the plans and see all matters related to personnel in a single list. Assignment and designation involve both your own health, safety, and environment officers. We have a section where you can assign roles to your occupational health and safety team, as well as link your subcontractors to the projects you've put out for tender. I also assist in this general configuration section during setup. By the way, of course, when we start working, both myself and our technical team start working as if we're part of your team. Especially, I personally am experienced in this field. We have very substantial field experience. In the area of occupational health and safety, we also had a consultancy firm as our second company. For 5 years in this firm, with 180 with professionals in occupational health and safety, safety experts, and workplace physicians, we carried out numerous actions in over 1,500 workplaces. In an official institution, the Ministry of Labor and Social Security's General Directorate of Occupational Health and Safety had accredited us as well. Consequently, we started developing this software simultaneously to be able to carry out the work of our company within Egg Robot. Therefore, we also make your definitions from here, as I mentioned. I start working as if I were a team member. We are there for you with every question, with every point where you get stuck. We also have a feedback line. If it is related to occupational health and safety, it is on a separate domain. You can also send us notifications from here. As the saying goes, words fly away, writing remains. Therefore, we plan and implement the topics from there. Our technical team is available 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. The requirements you send us. It could be an error report, feedback, or a suggestion. We work together on these. As I mentioned, the top menu generally includes cloning operations, batch processes, definitions, and special sections for personnel and myself. Also, in the regulations section, as I mentioned before, we can enter the relevant regulations and standards of each country into the system. When we enter them into the system, we can correlate them point by point, as I mentioned. You can view them here openly. Let's come back here. Within our workplace menu first, a definition is actually within a PDCA cycle framework. As you go from top to bottom, plan, check, act, take action, you can manage all actions from here. You can execute these, and what we define first are departments and units, because this is the most important point in the system. Because many selection screens, especially personnel selection screens, are always based on units. It is important in selection screens, such as which personnel in which unit will receive training, or which personnel in which department will undergo health screenings. Let's open a sample team list we had prepared. Let's quickly open one of them from here. Now you can define the units and departments of your business here. I opened many pages when we said new record. This is the page where we define teams and departments in the menu. We have a list. It displays as show new record as saved. This way, I'm also explaining the screen philosophy of the system to you now. Where are we coming from to get here? This is the place we refer to as the definitions personnel list. Here, when we say new record, a blank personnel list opens. And when we say show existing, the card for our existing personnel opens. Again, there are many tabs on the card. I switch to another page. This is the team list. We can define our task forces. What could these be? Let them be emergency response teams. Let them be risk assessment teams. After that, like firefighting teams, whatever kind of teams you have, when you register them as new in the system, a blank team card opens up. You can define these teams. Let's close this. Where is this? This is our machine equipment list. Where did we come from? We click on the machine equipment list from here. Of course, you do this once. Later, additions and removals can be made in the definition section. This part is important, friends. We make these definitions so that the system can communicate with us, so that the system can provide us with feedback. You can define the machinery, equipment, and systems used within your business. For example, what have we defined here? A corrugated cardboard machine. This machine apparently has a periodic inspection. It also has regular maintenance and inspections. What you mean by periodic inspection is actually an official inspection, such as one conducted once a year or every 2 years. Through the system, you can manage both official inspections conducted by accredited institutions for your equipment, such as elevators, pressure vessels, scaffolding, or any other equipment required to undergo periodic inspections according to your country's regulations, and internal inspections performed by your own maintenance team and operators. As I mentioned, a selection screen appears here, and from it, you search for and identify your relevant equipment and select which forklift you are using. Then you choose whether it requires periodic inspection or maintenance. You search for and identify your relevant equipment and select which forklift you are using. Then you choose whether it requires periodic inspection or maintenance. You design these on the system. If there are criteria for periodic inspection, you specify those criteria in the new record as well: hour, day, week, or other days. We made a definition for the periods. Here, for example, we defined that it needs to be checked once a year. Our last definition was made on October 10th, 2024. In the next tab, this is where we log the inspections as they are performed. Here you can upload details such as the date the inspection was done, who conducted the inspection, along with any relevant images or reports provided by the company regarding this matter. In this section, Maintenance Control section, here you see the Operator and Maintenance Personnel section. You can choose who operates the machine from here. You can add people here. For instance, 3 people have been added, or there were 3. Then you can also select whoever is in the maintenance and repair team. The previously mentioned selection topic regarding departments. Here you can indicate by saying, "Let the colleagues from this department come," and I will select them. The individuals you mark here as well. In this maintenance section, it performs the checks you have defined in your maintenance criteria, maintenance control criteria. For example, 4 different checks are defined here. These are just examples. Additionally, there is a design for a check every 8 hours, or 3 times a day. What needs to be checked? Here are the relevant items. Also, in terms of how these are checked, when personnel enter here, they open it and then mark them as yes or no. And from there, they can also generate a report output. Does this equipment require any personal protective equipment? That is, what personal protective equipment should be used when operating this equipment? You can link them here. Additionally, you can obtain an equipment-based report from the report section. Let me switch to another page. This is the section where you define your personal protective equipment. Again, from the definition section, you can define the personal protective equipment from here. Here, similar to the machines and equipment, you can define if there is any cleaning required or if this equipment requires maintenance. And here you can also conduct inventory tracking and see the quantities in this way. There is an assignment section which pertains to personnel-related matters. When you assign which equipment to whom, it is not just equipment. When we say new record here, whether it be personal protective equipment, machinery, assets, or vehicles, you can assign them to individuals within the system. In the system, whenever you create a record, your workplace information automatically appears on the workplace card. Now, I've opened a few pages. I was explaining the screen philosophy earlier, but it was unfinished. Let me go back to that. What did we have here? Unit department list. Show list, new record, customize. What was this? Our employee list, personnel list, show list, new record customized. Where is this? I see from here. Team list. Where did I come from? I came from here to here. Show new record added to the list. Where is this? This is our machinery and equipment list. Show new record added to the list, everyone. The software is single screen. Show new record added to the list, everyone. It's always in the format of showing a single list, new record, and saved items. Our filtering and search sections are related to the page content you are currently viewing and include filtering and sorting sections. Again, on each page, we have a Show Graph button where you can view different graphs based on various criteria across the months, this part in this section. We can diversify it, and if you say, we want to see a graph according to this, we immediately add it underneath. Again, you can print out exactly as you see this screen. As I mentioned earlier, you can print in every format, though usually the PDF format is used. Consequently, look here. There is pagination. Go to the next page, come to the previous page, and also why this page is needed. Why do we need it? Again, within the scope of standards and regulations. We can establish the associations through the system. When I say new entry, a blank equipment card opens. When I say show existing, I open the equipment card related to the existing equipment. Again, in the team list, when I say new record, a blank team card opens. When I say show existing, the current team card opens. Here, when I say new record, a blank personnel card opens. When I say show existing, the current personnel card opens. Again, look at the tabs inside. Communication tab shows a list of the newly recorded entries. Address tab shows a list of the newly recorded entries. Family information, bank information, work history, health history, diagnoses, vaccinations, medical examinations, risk groups, and then education history. You can define risk groups, so whatever risk groups exist in your organization, you can associate them with personnel. As you know, different training, different examinations and control periods can be determined according to risk groups. We can see what training history they have within the system, what training they have completed, all visible through the system. You can see what records they are involved in, such as an incident report, team, or other matters. Then what assignments do they have here? What personal protective equipment does he have? What equipment does he have? What tasks is he performing? How is he working? Which equipment they are using? This is where we manage personnel files, allowing you to track any documents related to a person that you upload and monitor in the system. As I mentioned, the system is based on permissions determining which topics a person has the authority to access for reading purposes. Or if not, it can be full, or they should only read their own locked records and then the authorized person. There is a detailed section on how records can be made, modified, deleted, or reported. You can also activate web relations from here. Once you activate and save the web relations, this person can now access the system. You can send it from here to let them create their password. A password creation link is sent to the email address, and when clicked, it directs to the password creation link. You can also diversify and customize the main login screens I mentioned earlier from here, deciding which screens and buttons to include. We can do those. This is how our personnel list looks. Now let me close these. You can open multiple windows at the same time and work on many modules simultaneously on the screen. The system is web-based. Where is this? This is our risk group list. Let's close it. Where is this? The annual activity plan section. From here, we start the planning process. After making the definitions, what can we do in the planning phase? What will we do in occupational health and safety and environmental processes within 1 year? Which activities will we carry out? We can prepare our annual training plans. In addition to providing occupational health and safety and environmental training, you can also offer specific training for your company within the system. You can also offer company-specific training courses within your business. In fact, when you start working with us, you receive many modules as if they are separate software. You can think of it as an all-in-one system. So the training section includes not only occupational health and safety and environment training. You can also provide other trainings. You can define your training sessions from here. How is bearing maintenance done? How is human resources management carried out? You can provide trainings and courses such as how to process gold ore. You can create other waste plans. And in your annual evaluation report, we have a bulk registration section in the preparation menu. Why did we create mass entries? There are mass entries for personnel, then for training, then for remote training, and for examination. These allow you to enter your retrospective data quickly. Or let's say you have 1,200 employees during the initial activation. Let me show you like this. We download an Excel file from here, fill it in, and by copying and pasting the data, we can register 1,200 people into the system within 1 second. Bulk registrations are practical in this aspect and also speed up the initial deployment processes. Because once you have registered the equipment and personnel in the system, you can carry out many actions. You can start personnel examinations, begin personnel training, and form teams. You can distribute personal protective equipment. You can also start examinations based on personnel. You can initiate many processes quickly and easily. Again, here we have designs for face-to-face formal training and remote training. In terms of supervision and monitoring, we have what we call the dashboard. You can think of this as your business's homepage. There are some summary details on this page. How many pieces of equipment do I have? How many of them are subject to maintenance? How many have periodic inspections? What are delayed? What are upcoming, and so on? You can take a printout of this information. Our print buttons are available almost everywhere. So when I want to print the screen I'm viewing, I can just press the print button and get a printout directly. If you want to print something but there is no print button, just let us know and we add it right away. You can also see these in graph form. There are summary graphs here on the main page, as well as graphs within the action pages. For example, there's a non-conformity notification here. When we press the graph button, we can see the non-conformities. The notifications are displayed monthly based on the type of damage or the type of notification. Again here, when you select more graphics, you can view the graphics in this manner. Let's close this and return to our menu. Let's continue with the annual activity planning. Let's reopen our annual activity planning here. Let me start a new record immediately. The plan title appears automatically, but you can change it this way, or you can leave it as it is when you save it. And now it sends the record to the background like this. And let me open the card. The card signature authorities. In this section, whoever needs to sign the documents, such as the employer or their representative and the occupational health and safety environment team, are automatically included. You can add or remove them. Throughout the system, I had mentioned in the communication details section on the workplace card, there is an email and SMS sending feature. So it says here regarding this annual activity plan, you can inform them via email saying that they have been assigned as the signature responsible. You can also send it as an SMS in the SMS section. Now, when it comes to listing, we have a feature to copy from previous plans. The same copying feature for plans you have made before is available in many places within the system. This provides us with great convenience. When we say create from scratch, the system creates the activities from the beginning and allows you to plan when and how to perform these activities. Let's move on to another planning. You can perform emergency planning through the system. Of course, there are many details. If I were to explain all of them, it would take 4 days. I could talk about this continuously without interruption. That's why I'm moving quickly. Again, the training. Let's quickly move on to the planning. In fact, I had already opened the screen here, so let's take a look. Let's open our trainings here immediately within the annual activity plan or the annual training plans. You can choose either inside or outside the plan apart from the annual training plan. Specify who will be responsible for signing, who the trainer will be, and what the training topics will be. Will there be a test? You can specify who will participate in the training. Here you can also immediately print the training participation certificate. We have our special filters in the section for adding individuals and in many other places. We work based on whether the person has previously received training on the relevant topics or not, or you can say, bring me these specific individuals who started between these 2 dates or based on risk groups, and I will provide them with training. You can quickly organize and record your participants here. This can be done either before or after the training. Also via email and text message, you can notify individuals of the training location, room and date through the system quickly. Our remote training module works in the same way with a similar logic. The only difference there is that for remote training, individuals need to log into the system immediately. Let's open one of these from here. The system automatically grants web access rights here. You can send this information to the person via SMS and email. Then again, from the same section here in the email and SMS section, you can inform the person that this remote training has been assigned to them. You deliver it. The person logs into the system by the specified date and completes their remote training with the help of a small guide. We have our non-conformance notification page. Where did we come from? We came from here. We have our non-compliance notification and incident notification list. This is a highly used module. This is where data and information flow from the field comes to you. People can click on New Record and file a non-compliance notification. In which areas, which type of, they can write about the type of non-compliance. Similarly, let's go to our incident notification list for incident notifications. Look, always under the list view showing newly recorded incidents. You can also shape topics in the incident report. What do you mean the incident report types? You can also configure this area in the general definition section with different types. You can enter whether there's a type of damage, which department it occurred in, who made the report, whether the reporter was affected, a witness, or an observer. You can mark these later in connection with this, the image file and personnel section. Why did this incident happen? You can customize these, and you can add individuals from the personnel section, like related personnel and so on. From the list risk assessment page, let's open one sample risk assessment card like this. These have been done using the 5x5L matrix method, and there's also a fine Kinney method available. You can conduct general risk assessment with these, and you can also diversify them based on departments, equipment, actions, or tasks. Moving on to the controls, in the control section, you can add from the control pool, you can add it, or you can manually add it yourself. In the system, the selection screens, that is those you can select from the system. There are places where you can select from the pool, as well as places where you can manually add them yourself. If it's generally not in the system pool, they tell us and we immediately add it to the system pool. This is risk score table. You can clone control topics from another risk assessment. You can utilize a risk assessment after scoring here. You can also generate risk assessment reports from the system. As I mentioned, we can diversify both the graphics and output formats here in different formats. Based on your suggestions, we can also make changes to the report formats. This is our examination screen. Our workplace team monitors the examinations of our personnel from here. If you want to see this person's previous examinations, all exams appear here. To start a new examination, click on the New Examination button. A new examination card gets opened from here. Our workplace physician can perform the necessary checks and inspections. And if a report or printout is needed at the end, they can obtain it as a printout from here. This is a person-based examinations list. If you want to see it based on examinations, I click here. Here we have an examination-based list. Again, we have special filters on the list, allowing you to use different filtering options here. This is the place where we can see machine equipment inspections in a separate list. There is a meeting management section in the definitions part where you can create meeting committees. We can create various committees such as the Occupational Health and Safety Committee, Environmental Committee, Occupational Health and Safety Environmental Committee, and Subcontractor Committee. Who will be the members? You can specify who the main members and the alternate members will be. From here, we can make additions and select individuals. There is a relationship between subcontractors and the main contractor. You can include personnel from your own firm or from a primary subcontractor. You can include them as board members. After that, you can design meetings with this board. Here is the list of meetings you have conducted, including participants and topics. This tab contains our agenda topics. We have buttons for initiating corrective actions or bringing topics to the committee agenda in many places. Whether it's in listing, environmental monitoring, or other areas, you can directly click on them. We can initiate and open a corrective action card by clicking here. There are 4 topics that we discuss in the meeting, and this is our subject in the meeting. Then we determine whether it's urgent or not and assess what the danger is. After that, we identify the source of the hazard. We can write them. Then there is a decision-making mechanism. For instance, the decision might be, let's say a decision was made to demolish a wall that is blocking the way. If you want to hold a vote, you can do it in a yes or no format. You can get a printout of your meeting minutes, either with or without the voting results, in 2 different formats. Additionally, you can view the meeting topics that have been added to the agenda pool from here as well. There is emergency management. Based on the emergency plan, you can create emergency scenarios. You can input your drills into the system. Regarding personnel, we continuously add screens to the system where you can view information as per your requests. For instance, here they requested a personnel list based on examinations, and we have added that. What else is there here? Here on an incident basis, you can see who was involved in which incidents. For example, this friend appears to be the one involved in the most incidents related to your business. You can add the workplace logo to appear on the reports. There are sections where we can see the files and images. We added through the system in a single list. This part is about medical drugs and medical supplies. In the analysis section, again, on the topics, you can view which analysis, whether it be training or health, including evacuation tests and health history. We are constantly creating new sections, adding new keys, and developing new modules, and translate them in the translation section, whether it's menu translations or other translations. For example, here we can define the language and the language infrastructure in the system. When I select New Definition, I can add the language that we want to include. After making this definition, we have our keys in the system like this. For example, let's wait a bit for the page to load to see the Turkish equivalents of these keys. This is what it looks like in Turkish, and here's what it looks like in English. It was like this. Then let's say the other versions in Portuguese, equivalent. It was like this. This is the main language infrastructure of the system I have shown. Users do not use these sections. I am only showing these sections so that you can clearly understand the structure. These sections are on the technical side of the system. Users can only change the interface language from the language change section if they need to, and use the system in the relevant language. This is the section where we change the language. From the menu part, I can switch the language by selecting the languages I want to use and adjust the screens accordingly. Our screens change this way. Let's return to English again. If we continue from the menu, I can show the activity tracking section. I can show environmental monitoring and supervision. I have shown work permits, risk assessments, waste management, corrective actions card, and there are modules like hygiene control. In the annual activity plan, the tasks you have planned can be, you can do it like I did this, created an output, formed a paper, and put it in my file. Look here, there is a responsible person section. In many places, whether it's monitoring the work process, listing, environmental oversight, or corrective actions, you can assign responsibility for tasks. After assigning responsibility for these tasks, you can link deadlines. It will be clearer from here. Let me show you through the corrective action. For example, in one corrective action, our topic was something like this. Let's make our number one activity related to it this. After this, let our number two activity be this. Let our third activity be this. Now let's appoint our relevant people. Let's choose one person. Let's select the second person. Now I've identified two people. It means I am assigning these three activities to these two people. Let this person carry out these activities. Actually have them do it together with the other person. After you do this, if you want, you can also send notifications to the people. You have been assigned such a task. Let me show it on the risk assessment. You can request it to be checked. You can suggest an immediate action or set a deadline date. After that, you can also assign it to a related person. This feature is used very often. Therefore, you can directly assign tasks to people instantly from the page you're working on. It speeds up both task assignment and communication. People can immediately see them as a list on their homepage or in the sections they are responsible for. In the sections they are responsible for, they immediately see these as a list. They open it right away, check it, do the related tasks, and record them here. Besides that, I mentioned workplace environment monitoring. From here, you can again select the relevant control topics, and you can mark as suitable or not suitable. Here again, you can add images, relevant items in this way. You can find all your records within the system in a very flexible structure. As I said, there is a lot to explain, but this is the quickest way I could tell it. Within the system subcontractor, your subcontractors also, you can track occupational health, safety, and environmental processes, both in terms of documentation and actions. For this, after registering your subcontractors in the workplace list, you establish a relationship between your main company and your subcontractors. We set up this relationship from this page. Here you are the main contractor and your subcontractors are also involved at this point. You register yourself as the main contractor and then select other businesses as subcontractors to establish a relationship. This subcontractor-main contractor relationship list. Later within this relationship, you can specify in which projects and tenders you have worked with this company. For example, we have worked with this company on 11 tenders. When you are awarding this tender and project to this company, you first ensure the company's entry into the system. A company representative views the subcontractor side of this card. They can see the section from here. Relevant personnel can view which documents you require from them as workplace documents. Then what tasks will be performed? Which equipment will be used? Let's open another subcontractor project card with sample data in it. Context tab. Which documents do we require? From here, you want the subcontractor company to upload the documents you want here. They can upload the requested documents here in image format or file format. Then they define the workers who will work on this project into the system. Which documents do you want from this subcontractor's worker? The authorized subcontractor uploads the requested documents of the workers to the system separately from here. Once all the uploads are completed, they request a review from you. It asks you to review and approve the documents. Here you can approve based on projects or subcontractor workplace documents. After that, we also have a subcontractor personnel-based approval section. If any documentation is missing from this personnel, you might not allow them to enter your facility at the security gate. This page is open on the screen of the officer at the gate of your facility, and he can see whether the subcontractor personnel who wants to enter has a pass based on the document status. If they have a pass, the subcontractor worker can enter. If they do not have a pass, they cannot enter. For example, the subcontractor worker here has incomplete documents or the project is completed, in which case he cannot enter. Or the project is ongoing, other colleagues are working inside, but this worker's document renewal period has passed and no new updated documents have been uploaded to the system. For this reason, we cannot allow you to enter. This allows for end-to-end subcontractor documentation. In this way, you can also track actions. Thus, you eliminate the possibility of problematic situations arising within your business due to the personnel of subcontractors. You can also provide reviews. You can also provide remote training to the subcontractor employees. You can give remote training to your own employees as well. Let me show you how the remote training works. First, of course, in the training definition section, you can define your own training titles. And within your trainings, you can include text. You can create image and video presentations. You can do both or all three together. You can create sections. All these sections are considered as individual slides. You can enter their contents in the form of text, images, and videos. And then you can create tests for them. These can be difficult, medium, easy, or consist of 15 questions, 10 questions. You can create the questions for these. You can create them in the system. When you click the print button, you can get the exam paper outputs that you will use for formal education. Similarly, in the section slides, when you say print, you can get the digital output of your training booklet as a PDF like this. Employees can also, in the list of my distance training programs, they see which ones they have completed and which they haven't. Is there a pre-test? What's in the section? What's in the final test? They can check these. After reading the final test section, they click on the questions. Then here are the answers. We have a Finish Test button. Once they finish the test, they have completed the training. They cannot change their answers, but they can see which ones they got right and which ones they got wrong. In the same way from here, they can also read and view the slides. They mark it as read accordingly. Additionally, within this, there was a video section. You can play the videos like this. You can also display the images. You can conduct the remote training section in this way as well, both for your own personnel and for the personnel of your subcontractor companies. For example, there is a sample video here. What is related to COVID in terms of the new coronavirus risk? Thank you for listening.